So we've all heard the phrase, violence isn't the answer. I feel indifferent about this quote because although it is true in some instances, if you take a look back through history, it says otherwise. We see this with examples of how religion was spread, colonization, the Haitian Revolution, the French Revolution, slave rebellions, wars. Anytime power was gained or freedom was gained, violence was the answer.
Facts.
I have to say, but if you're not hurting these folks' money or someone is not losing their life, nothing is going to happen. So
that's the only time people take you serious. Duh.
So this tweet says, these black men in South Carolina in the 1960s, they took on white supremacists, the Ku Klux Klan. This is a photo of these brothers, man. And look, this is top 10, in my opinion, top 3 photo of all time. It's up there with the Malcolm X photo, you know, when he at the window. But just thinking about this photo and how hard it is, bro. Pause. Because this is in the 1960s. White folk.
Why you gotta say pause?
The KKK could kill you for doing nothing. So they had all the reason to kill you for holding these guns. Look, brother got the shotgun in his hand, pistol in his hip. Dude on the right got 2 of them. He's... Come on, coldest photo of all time. And then someone ended up quote tweeting and saying, and the leader in the middle is Robert F. Williams, a Marine Corps veteran who changed the course of the civil rights movement and made an international impact beyond what MLK Jr. did. But he's erased from history because they don't want us knowing that violence can work. Just thinking back, y'all, I've never heard of these brothers. I've never even seen this photo until about a week ago. But brothers like him existed a lot during these times. We are only taught about the lynchings and us getting terrorized, but it was brothers that was standing up to this shit. And like he said in his tweet, they only push, you know, non-violent leaders like MLK, etc. because they want you to stay docile. And listen, I love MLK.
Yeah.
I feel like he was needed. Like, we needed a side of non-violence, but also we needed the side like these brothers. And even the act of self-defense, that's not violence. That's just protecting yourself. So it's just sad that, you know, things like this would even be seen as violence. You want to know why this is though, man? As black men, black people, we always have to be the bigger man. If someone does something to us, turn the other cheek and go about your business. No, we can never give the same energy back. Now let's get back onto the brother Robert Williams, right? This is a photo of him and his wife. He made a book called Negro with Guns, where he was basically talking about how we need to stay strapped and protect ourselves.
That is the smallest pistol ever.
Right, bro, he literally had a whole shootout with the KKK, and it wasn't in none of the newspapers. People weren't covering it, and it was never taught in schools. Like, this is stuff.
Yeah, because they don't want to make themselves look weak or look like they're being targeted, and it's nothing that they can do about it. You know what I'm saying? They gotta uphold the image that they're superior.
That I feel like needs to be broad information. Because guess what? He kept his life and he protected other people's lives. You know what I'm saying? All that turn the other cheek bullshit, it wouldn't have worked against the damn Klan. These folks was so evil. I want to tell y'all a story about a woman named Mary Turner. Her husband was lynched for a crime that he basically didn't do, right? And it was unfair justice. So she was angry about this, right? And she was I think 8 or 9 months pregnant at the time. Her baby was about to be born. So she was mad. She was protesting like, y'all shouldn't have killed my husband. He's not gonna, like, my baby's not gonna have a father. Like, rightfully so, she's mad. So guess what they did to her, y'all? They lynched her and then cut her baby out while she was being lynched. I mean, like, some of the most barbaric, evil shit. It's no peaceful. You can't be peaceful with some of these people. Like, that's just devilish. That's devilish work.
Robert Franklin Williams. He was that one. Rest in peace to the ancestor. Now, Robert Williams was a major figure in the struggle for African-American civil rights movement in the United States. Now, he was born in Monroe, North Carolina in 1925. And as a young man, he left Monroe and he moved to Detroit. And that's where he worked in the auto assembly plant and he became active in the labor movement. Now, after serving in the U.S. Army and later in the U.S. Marine Corps, he returned to his hometown and was elected president of the local chapter of the NAACP. Now, Williams believed that black people should be able to defend themselves from violent attacks with violence if necessary. Now, calling it the Black Armed Guard, Williams recruited African.
That's what you got the Second Amendment for, nigga.
American military veterans.
Well, that's the right, the right to bear arms, though, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
For his memberships. Now, in 1957, they protected the house of Dr. Elbert E. Perry. Now, they was protecting him from an attack from armed members of the KKK. And they drove off the Klansmen after a brief shootout. Now, Williams' ideas on armed self-defense was explored in his 1962 book called Negroes with Guns, which proved highly influential on the views of Huey P. Newton, who was the co-founder of the Black Panther Party.
So he inspired the Black Panther Party. And like I say, a lot of us don't know about him. I'm young, so, you know, I didn't learn about him. A lot of y'all probably do. But this was new to me weeks prior. Crazy,
Nobody know about this nigga, man.
right?
Party in 1966. At the same time, William utilized a variety of non-violent methods, and this was to achieve various integration goals. Williams took an active role in publicizing the 1958 Monroe kissing case, and this is when two young black boys who were 7 and 9 had been kissed on the cheek by a young white girl. Boys was and charged on convicted crimes of molesting the young white girl, and they sentenced them young boys to juvenile reform school.
But did she have lipstick on?
Committed to combat racial
She can still.
Justice was organized to defend the children, and the chairman was Robert Williams, and they successfully pressured the governor Luther Hodges to basically give the boys a pardon the following year. Now, when the members of the nonviolent Freedom Riders movement arrived in Monroe in 1961, they received Williams' support. Tensions rose over the next few weeks as local white supremacists started to attack members of the Riders. So when a white couple from a neighboring town accidentally drove into a black neighborhood, they were surrounded by the local residents. And these residents was convinced that that car was the same vehicle that was seen with a violently racist message banner the day before. Now, Williams brings him into his own house for protection. So that couple was able to leave that town safely because of Williams. Now, with violence escalating in Monroe and being threatened by the chief of police with lynching, Williams and his family fled Monroe, which they thought would be a temporary departure. He faced trumped up charges from the FBI that he was in flight to avoid arrest for having kidnapped that white couple. So to avoid prosecution, he fled the country, and he initially lived in exile in Cuba. Williams and his family left Cuba in 1965 and relocated to China. But in 1969, he returned to the United States to fight those charges. Now, he finally stood trial in North Carolina, and the charges against him was dropped. Now, he died in 1996 and was buried in Monroe, where he was eulogized at his funeral by Rosa Parks.
I'm gonna put some links down below in the descriptions of some great documentaries on this brother. His name gotta be mentioned more. You know, he gotta be up there with the MLKs, the Malcolm X's, the Fred Hamptons. Like, we gotta, you know, because he inspired a lot of these brothers, man.
Well, you know, he would illustrate it this way. Is the sheep preaching hate when he says, I'm not going to let the wolf eat me anymore? If the wolf comes in here, next time he comes in here, I'll do whatever I have to do to keep him off my back. Is the sheep violent or is the wolf the violent one? He wasn't teaching hate, he was teaching common sense. You know, somebody's knocking you over the head, stop them. Do whatever you have to do to stop them. You know, the ones that were knocking him over the head were afraid of the fact that he might swing back, so they said, no, he's teaching hate.
Yeah. Big shout out to Denzel Washington. He broke that quote down perfectly. That is the reason why in 2026, a lot of these white supremacists, white conservatives, they are scared because the white population is, you know, is going down. Now, the reason they fear this so much is because they feel like retaliation is going to come. Now that they're becoming the minority, they are scared that we are going to do those same things to them.
Well, it ain't even like black people is becoming the majority, though. It's the Hispanics in all reality, though.
Care less, bro.
They scared of anybody. It ain't just black people.
Just want to live our lives, right? Now, I want to show y'all a video that I stumbled upon, and it's disturbing, but it's also very, like, it's highlighting, because when I tell y'all these stories of folks eating us and folks using our skin for, you know, different types of things, it's real.
Okay, so I decided to take this chair apart and redo it. Well, I knew it was old, but I didn't know how old it was until I got in, realized it had been put together with twine, burlap, and this. But then I noticed this black stuff that was used as padding. Can we please?
Yo, do y'all see that?
Is that hair?
That is hair. That is black people hair that was put in the padding of the chair to make it more comfortable. This is a chair that was passed down from her family. So when I tell y'all these stories of folks eating us and cooking us and using our, like, this stuff is real. Like, and it's probably things that we don't even know that were, of course, way worse. But this was a family chair that was passed down. You know, it was in her family. So her ancestors had some slaves, you know, probably did whatever they did with them, and I
mean, it's understandable, man. The afro hair is a pretty good natural cushion. You know what I'm saying?
Use hair as a.
It's crazy though, man.
Look it's human hair.
That look like my hair, all gray and shit.
Human hair and cotton.
At one point in time in my life, y'all, I ain't gonna lie, I really didn't want to learn about my history. When I was like 17, 18, 19, I stayed away from every slave movie. I didn't really want to hear it because I already knew if I heard a story, it was gonna make me mad. And like, it was like a response to just be like, okay, I don't want to hear it. But I'm at the age now where I want to know everything. No matter how mad it's gonna make me, I want to hear it. But look, man, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Make sure y'all check out the
Yeah, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all this, man. That's crazy as hell, boy. We on the road to 100K, okay? If you want to hit that like button, subscribe button, and turn on all notifications, slap that all shit about yourself, because that's the first thing you should have did when you clicked on this video. I'll get at y'all in the next one, and I'm gone. TYP the 9.